Hi, this is a quick review on how to document your sources using MLA style. This is something that you should do for any research paper that you do for language arts. By learning how to correctly document your sources, you will be avoiding plagiarism and also giving an indication for your reader as to where the information comes from, so that either they can check your information or that they can go to those sources and find more information for themselves. So, when looking at your sources, the first thing you need to know is what information you need to take from them. Here is a list of all the possible pieces of information you might find. Keep in mind that not all of this information is always going to be available. So this is listed in the exact order that you will need to list it on your source card and then on your works cited page. First thing you look for is always the author. Sometimes the author won't be available, so if that's the case, you move on to the next piece of information, which is the article name. The article name should always be in quotation marks. The next piece of information is going to be the title of the website, project, or book. Because we are using articles, in most cases, you're going to be using websites. Please note, you do not need to include .com, .org, etc. And in no circumstance, unless you're told otherwise, should you include the entire web URL on your documentation. The next thing you'll do is any version numbers, dates, etc. Again, for most of these, you're going to see just posting dates for articles. However, you may see certain updates. If the article was updated at a certain time, you're going to want to include that information as well. Next is publisher information, any page numbers available. Again, with an article on a website, that likely won't be there, but if it is there, you need to include it. All documentation needs to include the medium of publication. That just means, is it print or web? Did you get it online or did you get it from a printed source? If you got it from online, you need to put web. If you got it from a printed source, you need to put print. And finally, the date you accessed the material. On the next slide, you'll see the format that needs to be included. Okay, you will all be getting packets with source cards that look just like this. This is an example of how you will fill out a source card, and this is just using the article that we read together as a class. So with this article, the author was present, so that's the first thing listed. Notice here that each item is separated by a period. Okay? Also notice the article is in quotation marks and the website is in italics. That formatting is important once you actually go to type this. Of course, when you're handwriting it, you're not going to be able to do italics, but when you type it, it needs to be quotation marks and italics. So the first thing we had was the author, last name first, and then first name, separated by a comma, and then a period, and then the full title of the article in quotation marks. And the next information that we had was the website. This is ABC News. Notice there's no .com. All you need is the ABC News. As far as, I'm going to go back really quickly back to that previous slide. Notice there's no publisher information, no page numbers. Okay, so the next thing we went to was the date of the publication, followed by a period. What I want you to notice about the date is how it's formatted. It's not written how we typically write our dates. The day comes first, then the month, then the year. It is not separated by any punctuation. Okay, next you have a period, and then this was accessed online, so I put web, and then the date of access, which is August 16th. So if you are finding your articles on Tuesday, August 18th, you will put 18 August 2015, and finally a period at the very end. You will do this for all three of your sources. If you happen to use our example source as one of your sources, you are welcome to just jot down this information on your source card. Next is how we take notes from those sources. So you will also, in your packet, receive a page that looks like this, and this is where you're going to write down your concrete details, and then the documentation will be the source information. And for the documentation, all you need is whatever that first entry is. So if you look back at the source card, Dan Harris is the author. That's the first part of that entry. So on the documentation, all we need is Harris. If the author was not available and the first part of that entry were the title, then you put the first two major words of the title. So this would be, you would put "Is the American Dream" here. If any page numbers were available, you would put the page number where this concrete detail is located. In this case, we don't have a page number. Here are some other sources for you, and I know this cuts off, so let me know if you need to see this. Purdue OWL is a website. It's the Purdue Online Writing Lab. It has everything you need to know about MLA information. Rockwood School District also has its own research paper guide. If you would like a hard copy of that, let me know. Otherwise, you can Google Rockwood Research Paper Guide, or you can go to this link here. Noodle Tools is a program that we have with the Marquette Library, and with that you can just plug in all your information and it will create a works cited entry for you, and then EasyBib.com does that as well, and you have permission to use those as long as you check. Once it has generated your entry, just make sure to check that it's done it correctly, because that's not always the case. Okay? Feel free to go back through this video, take any notes, pause, write down questions, and let me know if you need anything. Thank you.